أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا وإمامنا وقائدنا وقدوتنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد اللهم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Can everyone hear me? Just message on the chat please if possible. Today's topic is sihr that's done to prevent the spouse from being intimate with their spouse. Okay, so this is obviously a severe sihr that's done on the spouses, and this sihr, those obviously who do it, any sihr, those who do it, they're evil people.
It's just good to, it's a free class.
Adnan, if you can just speak.
I'm bored.
Adnan, if you can just mute yourself, please. Thank you. So this sihr is very severe, and those who commit it, they're obviously very, very evil people. They want the marriage not only to break up, but to break up in a very bitter and miserable way. This is the intention. Now, if someone cannot be intimate, be it the man or be it the woman, with the husband or with the wife, then there's two layers of sihr that can be affecting them. There's two layers or two types of sihr that can be affecting them, and they can be inflicted with these two types or two layers of sihr. Okay. The first layer is sihr of tafriq, sihr of separation. Now, if sihr of separation is done in a very severe manner, then this can lead to, this sihr in of itself can lead to sihr which would prevent the spouses from making. Or if they be intimate, it'll be very difficult and challenging for them. So even if they can be intimate, it will be very difficult, it will be very challenging for them. That's the first type or first layer of sihr. The second layer or the second type is the most specific sihr that's done in particular to prevent their spouses from being intimate. Now, I am using the word prevent is because naturally, obviously, a man and woman want to be intimate, and naturally, a husband and wife or the spouses want to be intimate. So, what does this sihr does? It prevents them from being intimate. That prevention, be it sihr of separation or be it sihr specifically of sihr called al-Rabt. Rabt means blockages or prevention. These two sihr, if you work your way backwards, so ultimate is that the spouses are unable to be intimate, actual intimacy, they are unable to enact it. If you work your way backwards, then the symptoms, you will see the symptoms. You will realize the symptoms. So let's work our way backwards. The symptoms, firstly, you don't want to be close to the spouse. If you come close, you feel agitated, you feel repulsive, you feel you want to run away, you feel you want to escape. You feel itchy if he or she is come close to you or touching. You want to remove him or her from touching you, so you may remove their fingers or hands from you. You may push them away like that. These are the symptoms. Before you come into the room or the bed, you don't want to come into the room. You don't want to come into the bed. You wait and delay yourself until your spouse falls asleep, goes to sleep in an angry manner or a frustration manner or in a moody manner. You don't care if he's upset or if she's upset or if she's angry or if she's moody. You don't care. You stay upstairs or you stay downstairs or you stay outside. You don't come when you come late. And you know when she or he has gone to sleep out of frustration or out of anger or the start of being fed up, then you come into the room and then you go to sleep. You tuck yourselves in quietly, don't disturb his sleep or her sleep. All of this you do in order for you not to get to come close to him or her. And before that, you will constantly argue with him or her. And the more closer it gets to the sleeping time, the more agitated, the more frustrated, the more moody, the more angry you'll get, the more you'll find things to argue in order for that he or she then goes to sleep in angry mood, giving you silent dream. So all of this is sort of to prevent him coming close to you or preventing her coming close to you through an argument. Yeah. During the intimacy, so suppose one of the spouses, starts to play and wants to be romantic. Eventually, there could be panic attacks on the person. He or she may breathe very heavily. They may breathe very loudly. They may start sweating. They might start feeling burning sensations. They will get a rush of negative feelings in their nuts, in their heart. They might get repulsive negative feelings, emotions running around in their heart. They may feel cold. They may feel stoned, but like they don't feel anything towards the spouse. They are feeling nothing, even though physically they may be playing, but they feel nothing whatsoever. In terms of the response, can be so much negative. Oh, he hates you. He dislikes you, despises you, or she hates you, she despises you. She doesn't like you. She got married out of being forced, or he married you out of being forced, or his family hates you, or her family hates you. So much response will be given to you. He belittles you, he insults you, he treats you as a slave, he controls you. Or the other way around, she controls you, she treats you as a slave, she takes advantage of your mercy, she manipulates you, she uses her family to control you, she takes advantage of you behind the scenes, she premixes behind the scenes, she tells you she will not communicate with other men, but she communicates behind. She laughs and jokes with other men while you're not there. She disrespects you. She does things without your knowledge, without your permission. At that moment, you'll get so much distress, so that you stop coming close to your wife or you stop coming close to your husband. So much distress will be given. You may even start to see images at that moment of flashbacks of what actually did upset you of your husband, by your husband or by your wife. You must start saying, for example, if she was talking to people and waving bye-bye to them, that might come front of your eyes. Or if she was sitting next to non-mahram relatives, playing with them, chit-chatting with them, and you caught her, or you saw that image might come flashing to you. Or if you saw him, your husband, chit-chatting with relatives, laughing and chit-chatting, and you didn't like that in real life, and then you had an argument, that moment of image, they come flashing to you whilst he's trying to be intimate, whilst you are trying to be intimate with your husband. Yeah, all of these things will come flashing of with the waswas. There could be images coming front of you. And then from the hip area to the private area, there may be a rush of things moving from itching to pins and needles to when you jog and you get some kind of stitches. That's the word. So you get stitches. Suddenly you get cramps. You might get spasms, and the worst one, obviously, you actually pain in the area. You may actually get pain in the area. Also, you may feel nothing in the areas. Be it a man or be it a woman, you may feel nothing. Like there's no attraction from the areas. Basically, there's no attraction to one another at all. So that can happen. Or the worst is pain. There's pain there. So when that happens, you may push away your spouse, and especially if you start getting panic attacks where your breathing becomes very, very heavy, and you start getting, or your breathing gets very, very fast, and you start feeling you're going to get a heart attack, or you're out of breath, and then you may altogether stop. You may push your spouse away, and you may altogether stop. So this is a classic and typical sign that you have sihr of tafriq, number one, and number two, you've got sihr of sihr of rabt, which is sihr against intimacy or prevention of intimacy. Now, before I go on to the remedy or the therapy and the cure for it, let me tell you that this can be also very similar to someone who actually was abused. Yeah, be it a man again or be it a woman, abused and bullying. So those two. So if someone was sexually abused, especially a lot of, sadly, our sisters are abused, and there are some men who are also abused, especially if they go to boys' school or boys' madrasa. Sadly, that happens. They are abused. So this can create the same symptoms, exactly same symptoms. And I want you to note this part down. The only difference, where okay, for example, if your spouse is like that, if your wife is like that, or if your husband is like that, how do you know it's sihr and it's not because of the abuse that did or did not take place? Yeah. Or how do you know it's not sihr and it's actually abuse that took place in the past, but they're not saying it, especially if they're man. If they're man, obviously they will not say it to you. So how do you figure out? Okay, note this down. The way to figure out whether your spouse was sexually abused or bullied, and because of that bullying, now bullying, what we must say, how is bullying linked to a person not wanting to be close to the spouse? The bullying, a lot of time, what happens when you bully when someone is bullied, there is some kind of sexual harassment. There's some kind of sexual bullying takes place. So that doesn't necessarily equate to sexual abuse to the level of someone lusting for them and so on. But because of that bullying, is some type of sexual abuse has taken place, or sexual harassment has taken place. Like, for example, calling names, sexually abuse kind of names were called. So he or she was not actually physically abused, but names were called. So that does affect them mentally, emotionally, even physically. Or, for example, there were punched in that area, yeah, or slapped in that area, and so on. So not necessarily lustful sexual abuse took place. It was more like sexual bullying, harassment, name calling, and so on. Yeah. Now that still has an effect on the individual. This topic is very sensitive, so I'm trying my best not to use too detailed words or too explicit words, because we have to be obviously respectful in our how we speak. Okay, but I hope you understand it. I'm trying my best to give you an image and a picture of what happens in the real world, and there are levels and there are differences between one and the other. So bullying can impact a person sexually in terms of prevention. They may have similar or same symptoms. If sexual abuse takes place, then yes, they will have the exact same symptoms. The only difference, though, I want you to note this down. The only difference you'll find that if they don't have Sihr and sexual abuse symptoms, they will not actually feel any pain from the hip to the lower area. There won't be pain, and it won't be as they'll. When you ask them what is it, they will be able to explain what's happening from hip to the lower area. It won't be something that like spiritual, the spiritual pain and agonies and feelings you feel in your body. You can feel it spiritual, so they won't feel that. They will feel like numbness. They will feel emotions and whispers. You'll have that as it's a mental thing. So they will have the whispers, and they will have the emotional repulsiveness or the panic attacks or heavy breathing and all that. But from the hips to the area, there won't be any pain. There won't be any pain. Or that pain, if they do have some kind of movement, they will be able to explain it, and that's natural movement of the body being repulsive, not necessarily like numbness, for example, feeling cold, feeling hot, numbness. These are normal reaction of the human body when it's feeling repulsiveness, or it's feeling to stay away from it, or it's feeling anxious and it's getting a lot of negative thoughts and a lot of negative feelings. It naturally, the body reacts like that. So it's nothing spiritual. There is no physical pain from the hip to the lower area, which they cannot explain with the words. Okay, so that's how you begin to notice. Now the way to test it out, okay, is you place your right hand from the hip to the lower area. You place your right hand and you start reciting Surah Al-Aqsa as Surah Fatiha, Ayat Kursi, the last verse of Baqarah. You recite and you wipe the areas anti-clockwise, like a doing tawaf, and see if there's any physical pain there or spiritual pain. If the pain moves from place to place, yeah, and the more it moves, it goes downwards, right? If it moves, and if it gets severe and severe and severe, not lower and lower and completely disappears. So if the pain moves towards the lower area, the more towards the private area, and it gets severe and severe, then that is spiritual, because you're reciting now the revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is spiritual, against the sihr that was done with disbelief and words of A'udhu Billah, Kufr and Shirk and Bid'ah. Yeah. So the words of Allah is attacking the words that was said against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and against the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's attacking that. That's why the pain is increasing. And that's why it's going towards its ultimate root cause, which is prevention of its ultimate root place, which is prevention of the intimacy. So it's going down there. Then it's spiritual. But when you're reciting, the pain doesn't move around. So this was if they're feeling any kind of pain, pins and needles, or any kind of slight movements, the body reacts like that, and it stays in the same place, or it starts decreasing like that, just disappears, can't feel anything, or they feel okay. Please do not message me now because I'm talking, and when you message me, it comes up. It distracts. I'm going to give you a Q&A session afterwards, okay? So just bear with me. Let me finish the talk, inshallah. So if the pain, I forgot what I was saying. If the pain goes downwards to the main area, right, and it gets severe at the same time, right, then, and again, you ask, is it spiritual pain or is it physical pain? You ask that question to the spouse, whoever's feeling that. Is it a spiritual pain or is it, you can explain the pain, it's like a muscle pain, explain the pain. If he or she can explain the pain like it's like a muscle pain, it's like a stitch, right? The more she or he can explain, right, the more you can attribute it to be a medical illness, yeah, or a medical natural reaction, or a mental reaction of the body, yeah. It's not spiritual. The less they can explain, and the more they attribute to be spiritual, yeah, the more it is spiritual, it is sihr. Especially, as I said, if you are reciting and blowing, and it increases, right? Or it starts to decrease, but it starts to go down and then decrease. Yeah. So these are the way to sort of basic ways to test if it's spiritual or if it's due to a trauma that they went through when they were young. Okay. I will first deal with the spiritual aspect of it, and at the end I will deal with the issue of if someone went through trauma. Okay. So let's start with the spiritual sihr tafriq, if was done on you or on the person, and sihr rabt was done also, and you are unable to be intimate with your spouse. Okay. So firstly, as we said so many times in our talks, that intention is half of the cure. Intention is half of the cure. Sometimes I even say intention is 80% of the cure. Okay. Why? Because intention entails dua, entails tawakkul. It mostly also entails, most importantly, entails specification. You specify exactly what's wrong with you. Well, yeah, by saying, Ya Allah, this is what's bothering me. Ya Allah, cure that particular thing. So you're being very, very specific. And because the shayateen and the sihr, they hide away, they don't want you to expose them. As soon as you expose them by making the intention, now you've opened the door to what's being hidden. You've uncovered them. Now when you begin to do your treatments, be it the showers, be it the oils, be it the recitation, be it the salah, be it the dua, now you're going to attack the base which they are hiding, and they're attacking you from the base. Yeah? Where they are hiding and they are attacking you from. Okay? So firstly, make the intention that, okay, I am going through sihr tafriq, which is sihr separation. I am going through sihr rabt, which is sihr to prevent me from being intimate. Ya Allah, cure me from these two types of sihr. Okay? And then make these intentions more deeper, more profound, more comprehensive, more detailed. Speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then recite the Quran, repeat du'as, repeat repeat the verses, blow into the waters, blow into the oil, blow into the attar, yeah, blow into the honey, blow into the ajwa dates, blow into the black seeds, blow into the sidr, blow into all cooking oils, rice, breads, everything that you consume and you apply on your body, blow on all of those things and begin to utilize them in your RUQYA treatment. And then take notes. Every day take notes from 1 to 10. Okay, today, how severe was I with my spouse? 1 to 10, say you say 7. If you continue the treatment the next day, how severe was it? Was it 1 to 10? Was it 7? Was it 8? Was it 6? Next day, yeah? You continue to monitor yourself, what's happening with the relationship with your spouse whilst you're doing the treatment of, playing the Quran with the intention of burning those specific sihr, sihr tafriq, sihr separation, and sihr rabt. doing your showers every day, applying the oils, having the ideal dates, having the black seeds, having the honey, spraying the house, especially your bedroom, especially your cupboards, the beds, the headboards, the pillows, applying it on top of the oil, applying on your bodies, applying on the pillows, the headboard, on the bed, applying it around your hip and the lower areas as close as possible to your private areas, intending to burn away the sihr of separation of the sihr, just preventing you from being intimate. Yeah. And then monitor yourself every day. The day it goes worse, for example, Wednesday it goes really, really worse. So repulsive from your spouse. Note that down. Continue the treatment. The next Wednesday, see how it was. Was it more worse? Next, the following Wednesday, was it more worse? Note it down. If you begin to see, okay, Wednesday is the day that it gets really worse, that means that sihr was done on Wednesday. Okay? So now, Wednesday, make sure the treatment is very intense. You can even start from the day before, Tuesday. Make sure you get everything ready, your buckets, your spray bottles, the ajwadis, the honeys, the itar, get everything ready. And you start your treatment intensively from Tuesday night. Okay? And then again, monitor yourself. Wednesday, which time does it get really, really bad? Okay, that means at that particular time, for example, 11 p.m., it gets really, really bad Wednesday, 11 p.m. against your spouse. That means at that time, they did the sihr. Okay? So what you do, that time you don't be intimate with your spouse. What you do is, that time do the intensive ruqya, whether it's reciting the Quran with the intention of burning away the sihr of the separation and prevention, whether it's the ghusl and then the oils, whether it's spraying the house, whether it's listen to the Quran with the headphones, yeah, whether applying the oils or the black mask in that area and black massaging anti-clockwise your heart, your head, and the whole private area. Whatever the treatment is, intensify it and see which treatment works on you the most better. Is it black musk? Is it ajwa dates? Is it black seeds? Is it honey? Is it the ghusl? Is it the spraying? See which one impacts you the most, yeah, and intensify that one. Okay, so I'll summarize it for you again. Specify the issues you're going through, from the symptoms, the sources, and the causes. Specify the intentions. The more you specify, the more you expose the hideouts, where they're hiding, where they have placed the sihr. You expose it to your treatment and the du'as and tawakkul and the recitation. You expose it to them. Note down, okay? Every day, note down how you're feeling, or what's going on, which treatment is impacted the most, which time is impacted the most. Note all of this down. How to find the day that it gets really worse, then find the exact time. Those today, and it could be, just have to be one day, it could be 2 days. For example, it could be Thursday and Saturday, or it could be Friday and Saturday, or it could be Friday and Monday. It can be even 2 days, it can be even 3 days. Just note them down and keep intensifying the treatment on that particular day or even before that particular day. And let your spouse know that day gets really heavy on me. Just leave me alone. Give me my space and assist me and help me to do the treatment. Okay? And then do that for, say, a month. And then check back. Okay, Wednesday was very bad on me. And then see if Wednesday doesn't get better. If Wednesday gets better, that means, alhamdulillah, you've tackled with one sihr on that day. Then see which other day is next. Is it Thursday? Is it Monday? And then continue with those specific intentions and intensify the treatment. Okay. I also advise, so take the spiritual means. I also advise you to give those details to the Raqi, the scholarly Raqi that you're going to. Okay, give these details to him. That I am going through these specific days, this is what happens to me. So the more details he knows, the more then he can specify the treatment, the more specific intentions he can make when he recites on you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to cure you, inshallah. So give that information, even if it's confidential and sensitive, but someone has to know, especially the ones who's trying to help, inshallah. The other point is, even though it's spiritual illness, because you're a human being and we have heart and we have a mind, we have a physical body, slowly, it will impact your other spouse who is not inflicted with this sihr. It will impact them mentally. It will also impact you mentally because you can't be intimate with your spouse. So I advise every single brother and sister, every single man who is going through issues on intimacy, please, brothers and sisters, go to counseling and therapy regarding this issue, right? Alhamdulillah, nowadays in NHS, there are females, there are men who can counsel you. So if you're a man, you can go to men. If you're a woman, you can go to women to counsel you and give you therapy on how to be intimate with your spouses. There's so many ways. There's so many things. There's so many ways you can go to be intimate with your spouses and make them comfortable. There's so many ways. So I highly advise you to go to this counseling and therapy. There's some now, even Muslim brothers and sisters who slowly are opening these institutions and organizations individually. In fact, they're opening these up. So please, brothers and sisters, if you're suffering with sihr of separation and sihr al-Rabt, especially the intimacy issue, yes, it's understandable. It's very shy, something very sensitive, something very intimate to speak about, but it needs to be done. Why? Because you are also suffering mentally, and you're also making your spouse suffer, and you're also delaying having children. Yeah, which is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So please go to counseling and therapy, both of you together. Yeah. If you can't go together, you feel really embarrassed. Wear niqab if you're a sister, so they can't see you. If you're a brother, go to your man and take your wife, just get her to wear niqab so the man doesn't see who she is, and speak about these issues, and then maybe he can advise. Right? If you're a woman, go to a woman, simple, inshallah. You can take your husband for comfort. And nowadays it's easier to cover the face through the face masks. So if he wants to cover his face, that's one of the ways to cover his face, inshallah. So I would advise you, please go with, and it has worked, the brothers and sisters, without even going through any traumas of past. When I advise them to go through therapy and counseling, specifically on these issues, they give you specific medication to take for your body to be relaxed. They give you other tips for you to, for your body to be relaxed, for you then to, make yourself comfortable more than anything, and then make your spouse comfortable. Yeah. So it does really work. And as I said, I know brothers and sisters who were going through very difficult times on these issues. And alhamdulillah, they overcome it through this counseling and therapy. And now, alhamdulillah, they have children. It does take time. Sometimes it takes 6 months, sometimes it takes a year and a half, sometimes it even takes 2 years. Eventually, you can come over, inshallah. So that's the spiritual side of therapy. And so whatever, if you're going through trauma, whatever, if you actually went through trauma, so you actually bullied, harassed, and or you actually sexually abused. Sometimes, some cases, very violent abuse as well. In some cases, sadly, even it has happened that even it has taken place by mahram, and this is the worst case, because when mahram abuse, then that it breaks all trust. So he or she breaks trust of every man or every woman out there. Yeah, because the ones who are meant to protect, the ones who are meant to be guardians, they took advantage and they abused. So that trauma is very, very difficult to deal with, but as long as you speak to your close people, very close people, who will not gossip, who will not slander, will not add stuff. They will actually support you and comfort you and help you. Then that is the first uncovering. That is the first taking off the burden that your own mahram, men or mahram woman did this to you. Yeah. So, and it can happen both ways. Sometimes sisters think it's only sisters. No, it can happen with men. Men can be abused by their. It's sad, but it happens by their aunties. You know, it's sad, but it can happen. Please, 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 first talk to someone who's very close to you, who will support you, and also expose that person. In order, there's two reasons you expose that person. The first reason is that this factual issue needs to be out, right? For your sanity, for your security, for your stability, right? It needs to be out. That's the first point. Second point is he or she, whoever it is, they need to apologize to you, even if it's not in front of anyone, but they apologize. That apology needs to be one way. It can't be two ways. One way meaning the victim has to forgive, doesn't have to forgive, but he or she has the right not to forgive. And you can't say the victim, okay, seek forgiveness from the oppressor. No, it's one way only. I want you to write this down. Okay, it's one way. The victim, the oppressor, the one who took advantage and oppressed, he or she needs to apologize sincerely, understand, seek for beg forgiveness from the victim. And the victim is her choice or it's his choice whether he forgives you or whether he doesn't. Whether he says, I don't forgive you, whether he says, I do, or whether he remains silent, doesn't say anything. It's fine. Sometimes I've seen people judge on this matter and they will say, both of you seek forgiveness from one another. No, that's wrong. That is wrong. That is totally, totally, totally unacceptable, and it's wrong. Because anyone who took advantage of anyone, he is the oppressor or she is the oppressor. The other person is not in any way the oppressor. So the victim, right, doesn't say anything. If he or she doesn't want to forgive, it's up to her. If he or she says, I don't want to see your face anymore, or I don't want to be in my house anymore, I don't want it to be wherever I am anymore, she or he has the right to do so, even if they are mahram, even if they are or his mahram. Also the spouse, whoever the spouse is, he or she has the right to say to the abuser, I don't want to see your face. I don't want to be around you. I don't want my wife or my husband to be around you. I don't want you to come. I don't want you to have any contact with myself. I don't want you to have any contact with my spouse. They have a right. Why? The Messenger, when he doubted one individual, he said to his wife, cover your hijab. Even though he was a very close mahram, he said to her, cover your hijab and be careful of it. In Sharia terms, again, write this down. Sharia Islamic ruling is if anyone takes any advantage of anyone sexually, even if they are mahram, they become non-mahram. They are treated as non-mahram. So, for example, it was the brother. The brother becomes non-mahram. It was the uncle. The uncle becomes non-mahram. It was the father. The father becomes non-mahram. It was the khala. The khalas. She can't be with him anymore. It was the fufu. She can't be with him anymore. Okay? Khala, mom's sister. Fufu is the father's sister. Okay? So they can't be alone anymore. Yeah? And if anyone who's guardian of him or her, so for example, the husband is the guardian, she married him now, he married her now, he can say, I don't want to see, for example, the father, I don't want to see you, or the brother, I don't want to see you anymore. I don't want you to see my wife anymore. he is allowed to make those rules in order to protect her, his wife. Yeah. So this is Islamic ruling. I want you to note that down. It's important that you have to take that stance because they broke the boundary of the mahram. Okay, what's the first thing to do? As I said, first thing is to expose them. Expose them to people who are close to you, number one. And number two, someone who can do something about it. Yeah. And so it's the blame game, which is on you, that blame game goes over. You don't feel burdensome anymore. And the second main reason why you have to do that, the second main reason is that he or she doesn't harm anyone else in your family. Because it can become a lustful, predatory sort of instinct. So you have to make sure that the reason you expose him or her, that he or she doesn't go and do the same thing to other people within your family. And subhanAllah, I know some families that, one brother did it, and then the other brother did it as well. Because it was not stopped. The parents did not stop the first brother. They saw it, they witnessed it, but because they did not stop the first brother, the second brother continued. And that's the problem. So it's so vital that you expose, so it doesn't continue by someone else on you or on somebody else. After that, after the exposure and after talking to people, the next step is now you go out to the society and seek help. Through RUQYA, yes, but most importantly for you is through counseling and therapy. For you specifically, my brother and sister, you have to go through counseling and therapy. You have to, especially before marriage. If anyone who hears my lecture, if you were abused sexually, right, please go to counseling and therapy before you get married. Because it's going to affect you and impact you very badly once you get married. And if you're married and you went through sexual abuse by anybody, right? Even if you think you're well, I know some sisters say, "Oh, I'm fine." No, you're not fine, sister. Right? Go to therapy and counseling. Seek help out there from women, therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists. Right? They will help you. They will get you to speak. They'll get you to go to memory lane, talk about things, and you will go through so much emotions, and they will talk you through these issues step by step, again and again, until you feel normal to these matters. You are able to take your spouse and love him or her without being repulsive. You'll accept him like he is not my abuser. My abuser was someone in the past, not him. Or she is not the abuser, she's my wife. My abuser was someone in the past. Yeah. So it's going to take time. It's going to take 6 months to a year to 2 years to maybe even more. But you will see improvement. Trust me, brothers. You will see improvement. Okay? No doubt about it. So please, brothers and sisters, before marriage, go to therapy if you were abused in any way, even if it's one incident it was. Still, go to counseling and therapy. Talk, get it out from your heart, get it out from your chest, get it out from your memory lane, and you are, there's no trauma, there's no mark, there's no scar left anymore, emotional, psychological, mentally, or inshallah. When you go to those counseling and therapy, take someone with you. Why do I say that? Always someone very close to you, like a sister or like a very, very close companion, friend. Take someone very close. If you're married, then always take your spouse. You might say, "I don't want to take my spouse." It does help you eventually. How? Because he or she psychologically and can see your improvement. He or she can note down the improvement, and he or she can understand what you went through. Because he will in the beginning. He or she will have a lot of pain. Like, yeah, my wife or my husband went through this. There'll be a lot of pain. There'll be a lot of hurt. Eventually, because you went through it, your hurt is becoming stable. You're moving on. He or she will also move on with you. Okay, yes, it'll be very traumatizing for him or her, but eventually he or she will, just like you are moving on in a good way, in a positive way. So please, please, please take someone with for support. Don't go alone. When you go alone, what happens, what I saw when people go alone, is they get withdrawals, they start remembering and they start getting so anxious that they stop going because they don't want to talk about it. But not talking about it is not a solution because this will affect your spouse. This will affect you. This will affect even your children if you have children. So not talking about it or brushing under the carpet or trying to forget about it is not going to work, my brothers and sisters. You have to go. So take someone with you. When you take someone with you, they will tell you, encourage you, support you, right? And they will also tell you about the improvements, how you're improving, especially if they are your spouse. They will tell you, okay, you know what? Look at 6 months ago, look how you were, how repulsive you were towards me. 6 months down the line, you are still repulsive, but not as bad as before. Yeah. So they will encourage you and they will tell you that how you are improving. So please, please, please take someone with you. Okay. One person will suffice, but I also suggest that if that one person can't make it, like he's lazy or she's very lazy or she's very unreliable, have a second person there who can go with you, inshallah, to those appointments. And now there's, alhamdulillah, the facilities available where it doesn't have to be on site. You can do it through the phone, talking to someone. You can do it through online without them seeing. So there's so many ways nowadays you can do this counseling and therapy and seeking this aid and help from these psychologists and psychiatrists and therapists that can really, really help you, inshallah. And you also, even if you don't have any spiritual illness, like there's no sihr tafriq on you, there's no sihr rabt on you, you just went through trauma, you also, I highly recommend you also do the RUQYA treatment. Same, they're playing the Quran, listening to the Quran, reciting the Quran, having the showers with recited water, applying the oils with recited water, spraying the beds, spraying the bedrooms, applying the itr around the areas, your heart, your head, your hip to your lower areas, all of these areas, having ajwa dates, having the black seeds, having the honeys, all of this treatment I will ask you to do. And I will teach you one other treatment, inshallah, if you can just write this down, everyone. So you recite Surah Fatiha, you keep reciting, keep reciting, keep reciting, keep reciting with the intention of burning away the emotions and the negative feelings and the negative stress that you went through in your past life of trauma, be it bullying, be it sexual abuse. Keep reciting Surah Fatiha, and then recite the words, and whatever you know, du'as, adhkar, keep reciting. Don't close the eyes in the beginning. Just recite when you're lying down or when you're alone. You're lying, sitting down somewhere comfortable, no one can disturb you. Make sure no one disturbs you at that time. Keep reciting until you're comfortable. Once you're comfortable, close your eyes and then recite. If you're feeling the emotions, wipe your chest, wipe your head anti-clockwise like you're doing, intending, oh Allah, burn these negative thoughts, negative images, negative visions that I have of the past, the memories. Allah, burn them away from my heart, burn them away from my mind. Keep reciting, keep making the du'as, keep making the du'as, and then slowly begin to imagine what happened. Just reimagine it and go very slow. Don't rush. You don't have to fix it in one day. You can inshallah have like in 2 years' time. I want to fix it. Give yourself a long period of time. Don't rush it. Okay. So reimagine those first incidents when he called you in the room or when she asked you to come in the room. Reimagine those things slowly. Yeah. If you can't go far, stop. Okay. If you can't hack it, if your conscious can't go there, stop. You don't have to continue. Okay. Keep reciting. Reimagine it, and when you can see everything, blow towards like this. while you're reciting, while you're making dua, intending to burn away that individual where you have no fear of him, where you have no fear of her anymore, where you feel like she's not controlling you or he's not controlling you, right? So blow away, keep blowing, intend to burning away the control, the fear factor. Why did you obey him? Why did you listen to him, right? You know, why did you listen to her? Why did you have to enter that door? Why couldn't you say no? Yeah, why was he able to control you, right? Burn those controlling fear factor away from yourself. Keep flowing, keep flowing, keep flowing, keep flowing. If you feel more anxious, again, wipe your chest and heart and your head, in your lower areas also. Keep wiping anti-clockwise. Blow into your hands, wipe. Blow into your chest, blow into your lower areas. Blow into your hands and wipe your head. Yeah, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. You'll see if you do it every day. Just take a moment, hour and a half, quietly lock the door. Just you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His revelation, His nur. Recite, 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 and blow. Just like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala relieves you from sins, right? Purifies you through tawbah and repentance. Just like that, the trauma of the past can be elevated from your heart and your mind and the physical limbs. You recite the Quran, you make the dua, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remove those negative feelings and negative emotions and negative thoughts and negative whispers, inshallah. So every day, when you're free and you have got some time alone, just lock the door, close your eyes. First, when you're not comfortable, don't close your eyes, recite. Once you're comfortable, close your eyes, imagine those incidents. And the main thing is recite and blow into those images. Main thing you need to intend is you don't have fear of that individual. No? You don't want to have any controlling aspects from that individual anymore. You can say no to the individual. Yeah, that's how you wanna get at. You wanna get emotionally, psychologically, mentally, physically. You wanna get to the position where when he or she says to come in the room, you're confidently, assertively, powerfully can say, no, I'm not coming to the room. What you're doing is wrong. And I'm going to tell my parents, or I'm going to tell my guardians, and I'm going to expose you. That's the demeanor you need to have when you are doing this by yourself, reciting and blowing. And once you have that demeanor, alhamdulillah, you've broken from the shackles of the fear and the control that he or she has over you. Okay? Hopefully, inshallah, I have covered everything. If there's any questions, inshallah, I'll take it from you. So just if you can, the only issue here is because I'm using my phone. So if you can just message on the chat, I'll try. I think it's gonna come to myself. So I'll try give it one by one, just as I give some time, so I'm able to answer everyone. Let me just check where can I see the chat. The question came to me: what if you are is just your spouse and you are unable to do this on them and they don't wish to speak about it? Yeah, just play the Quran. Just play the Quran. Just play the Quran, inshallah. And you do the treatments. You do the treatments as much as possible. You intend them, and you talk to their close people, i.e. the families, to get them involved. The close ones, though. You find out what is there trauma, is there bullying, is there sexual abuse. You try to find out through the signs that I told you and the symptoms that I told you. And then try to get at least talking therapy on the phone, right? If they're going through trauma, and take it from there, inshallah. If you need help, seek help from her family or his family, inshallah. And the more you talk, the more you try to get help for them, the more they'll understand, okay, he or she is trying to help. Okay? But you have to have patience, my brothers and sisters. If your spouse is suffering from sihr tafriq and sihr of separation and sihr al-Rabt prevention or trauma of the past, you have to have bags and bags and bags. Because it's not you they are against. If it's spiritual, there's sihr and the shaitan. If it's not spiritual, then there's a trauma they are scarred and they are wounded with. Okay? So you have to be very patient. But talk to them, get help from outside, from their family, and get help from society experts, psychiatrists, the psychologists, the therapists. Okay, there's one more thing here. What dream do people with Sihr get who are affected with Sihr, and can we find the person in our dream? Okay, so what dreams will they see? They will see a lot of sexual dreams. They will see a lot from different shayateen will come in the images of, maybe they'll come in the image of the spouse, or maybe they'll come in the random images of random people. But the shayateen may enter or may not enter, but she will wake up with, I don't want to enter, and she will have like he will have like panic attacks while he or she is having those dreams. That's a Or he or she will see, for example, around that area there's locks, or there's knots, or there's ropes. There's all of this kind of dreams he or she see, indicating that there's sihr in this area. Or another, they will see, for example, they are urinating, and lots of urine are coming from that area, and it's not stopping. So it's to do with that area, basically. So if you see that area a lot in the dream, then someone obviously did some kind and some type of sihr on that area. Okay. Another question was, so I'm using my phone, that's why I'm tilted it. What surahs to recite for Sihr? Recite Surah Maryam and Surah Ali Imran a lot, Surah Baqarah, Surah Maryam, and Surah Ali Imran a lot, with the intention of breaking the Sihr. And when you do that, massage the right with the right hand, blow into your right hand while you're reciting, blow into it, and then massage the area of your right hand with oils, with black musk, that intend to burn away the sihr, inshallah. If, as we said, if someone's not willing to do the treatment for them. I intend them while you do the treatment, and then also seek support and help through the RUQYAs, through counseling, through therapy, through psychologists and psychiatrists, also through family members who are close to them. Inshallah, I hope I've summarized everything. If there's any more questions which are sensitive, you can, inshallah ta'ala, go to fitrah.com and book an appointment, a phone consultation appointment. If it's too sensitive for you to talk about it, you can book an appointment with myself through the phone consultation, half an hour. And inshallah, I can give you a more specific, detailed advice according to what you're going through, inshallah ta'ala. Don't be afraid, or don't be scared, especially if you're a man. If you're suffering in that particular issue, inshallah, trust me, there are treatments out there who can help you. And as I said, I know brothers and sisters who have been suffering for 6 months to a year to 2 years, and eventually they were able to be intimate, be it black magic or be it trauma, and they were able to be intimate, and they, alhamdulillah, they have children. So inshallah, and eventually there is enjoyment. The fear factor goes away, the pain factor goes away, and there is enjoyment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is within the spouses in this life and in the coming life. So there is enjoyment, and you should seek the yearning of the enjoyment and the luxury, happiness and joy to have a spouse, for you to enjoy halal, pure. You should yearn for that, and that yearning should motivate you to go to therapy, to RUQYA and counseling and so on for you to get cured, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cure all of us from this sihr and black magic. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala heal our wounds and scars if we went through any traumas. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us with righteous, upright, compatible spouses. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to seek this halal, pure pleasure in halal, pure way. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us with righteous, upright, role model children for ourselves and for our beloved Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. اللهم تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا وأخطأنا. ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. اللهم ربنا لا تذرنا فردا وأنت خير الوارثين. اللهم ربنا لا تذرنا فردا وأنت خير الوارثين. اللهم ربنا لا تذرنا فردا وأنت خير. اللهم اشفنا من السحر والحسد والمس والعين يا رحمن الراحمين يا أكرم الأكرمين يا أجود الأجود يا شافي اشفنا يا شافي اشفنا يا شافي. اللهم ألف بين قلوب أسرتنا. اللهم ألف بين قلوب أسرتنا. اللهم ألف بين قلوب أسرتنا. اللهم ألف بين قلوب أهلنا. اللهم ألف بين قلوب أهلنا. اللهم ألف بين قلوب أهلنا يا رحمن يا أكرم الأكرمين يا أجود الأجودين. اللهم اشفنا من سحر التفريق والربط. اللهم اشفنا من سحر التفريق والربط. اللهم اشفنا من سحر التفريق والربط. اللهم اشفنا من سحر الربط. اللهم اشفنا من سحر الربط. اللهم اشفنا من سحر الربط يا رحمن الراحمين يا أكرم الأكرمين يا أجود. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم صل وسلم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Inshallah, we'll see you in the RUQYA group, RUQYA, inshallah, end of this month on Sunday, to book for that session where I do khatam. I think I've finished more than half of the Quran, inshallah. So try to book that. It's on our website, fitrahcenter.com. And inshallah, I will do another lecture next month, inshallah ta'ala, on different topic. You also join that as free, inshallah. Also, you can watch all our talks on our website, fitrahcenter.com. If you go, YouTube channel. If you go on there, you'll see a lot of lectures there. Take notes. Always have pen and paper or a notebook where you can take notes, inshallah. And soon, inshallah, most likely in October, I'll be going through 50 hadith of RUQYA, which I have collected. We'll go through these RUQYA matters in very, very detail, inshallah. Again, it's free. Do join that course, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.